Hey guys, today we're going to be going through this, which is my CD collection currently. This might be a kind of long video, but this is what I wanted to do today, so let's get into it. So I'm just going to start with my CDs that are not in jewel cases, and I'm going to try to be quick with this. So first up's Vermont by Milk Street. They're like folk punk slash Midwest emo, and I booked them alongside Rent Strike here last year. We got Stray Dog Howl by Chase James Wigmore. This is on Spotify, so I like highly recommend checking this out. Straight into Lorna Shore, some fucking deathcore. As I Return to Nothingness, got this on vinyl as well. Here's Among Legends, Take Good Care, which is a like pop punk band from Toronto. I booked them as well. We got Delboy Druid, Blame and Other Poems, is what this one's called. Folk punk adjacent. I'd consider it another artist that I booked. Straight in back into death metal, we got Arsis, Unwelcome. This got Face of My Innocence, I really like. Everything up next is all folk punk, so we got Matt Pless, From a Basement to a Couch, DIY Sessions, compilation 1, 2, and 3 from Ribfest Records. Also Escape from the Zook Helicopter, We the Heathens, Blood Behind the Dam, and Dirty Harry, Get Busy Living, or Get Busy Crying. These are all really good folk punk albums. So I guess Escape from the Zoo is kind of more like, almost like crack rock steady ska punk. Here we got some folk in the form of Rory Talon, Now It's Quiet, another artist I booked. Tea with Lincoln, this is Broke as Folk. This is a local folk band, a little before my time. This is just my buddies, Slumshine, local CD again. Another artist I booked, Greg Rakes and the Inside Job. That's some folk punk stuff. We got Wasting Time, which is I think a really good pop punk band. So I got both of their CDs that they were selling when they passed through here. Very cool. The Din Does Laundry, local like alternative. So the band's The Din. I want to say alternative slash like indie rock almost. There's My Band Hales, RUP Rock and Rolls, some solid skate punk stuff. Wishbone, another local band. They're more rocky. Choking on Appendages, my hardcore solo recording project EP. Another local band. This is Comedy Rock, The Floor Between Us. Previously local person. Their solo album. This is just some metal shit. Paul Melanson. Local punk band here, The Hangdowns. And finally, some shitty, I don't know. This is just something that I did on my own. I've also got Not Inside a Case, just some Face to Face. It's a punk rock band. I've got all of my agnosticism. These are my like solo folk punk project CDs, and I've actually got I've actually got a whole fuckload of them. So I'm just briefly showing those off. So this is the most metal record I own, Adam Sandler. This is really sick actually, Ailstorm. I fuck with pirate metal a whole fuck ton, so, and this is one of my favorite albums by them. We got some All Time Low. Yeah. Everybody's favorite coworker metalcore band, Avenged Sevenfold. Nightmare. We got some Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction. We've also got, and again, this is going to be kind of crazy, Bach. I really like Billy Talent, local Canadian alternative rock sort of band. I don't know, early stuff was more emo. I've got 1, 2, and 3 here. I think that they're all really great albums. And then I've got a lot of Sabbath. So we've got Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. We've got Paranoid. We've got Master of Reality. And we got the first album. All solid bangers. I've also got Blink-182, Dude Ranch, which I think is a really good album, really good punk album. Also Cheshire Cat and Buddha are great. Unfortunately, I don't have those. I have all their later stuff that I'm not super into. These are all gifts. Everything after, like Enema of the State and everything after, is just not my jam. Here's some Racer X Superheroes. Are really good, like 80s shred hair metal band with Mr. Biggs, guitarist, fucking Paul Gilbert. This is a really cool one that I'm excited about having, as Lorna Shore, Pain Remains. I think really cool addition to my collection. We've also got Refused, Shape of Punk to Come, pretty quintessential hardcore album. And then Jimi Hendrix, but honestly, no dissing me here. This is good shit. And also, I got Shit Liver, local band, fucking crazy, like, sludge. I don't even know. They're really good. I also got this local compilation CD of a bunch of, like, I don't know, it's like one-man grindcore bands. Soundtrack from the Blues Brothers. Soundtrack from The Breakfast Club. Jazz, sorta. Anyways, back into the better stuff. We got Catch-22, Keys Be Nights, great ska punk album. Saw Streetlight Manifesto twice live, and they play some of those songs. It's really good. I've also got Children of Bodom. I've got Something Wild. I got Hatebreeder. I got Follow the Reaper. And I got Hate Crew Death Roll. I love Children of Bodom. Those first 3 albums are perfect. We've also got Choke, Giver, good punk band. This is my introduction to them, actually. Quintessential death metal album. I mean, Sound of Perseverance by Death. I mean, it's in the name. This is one of my favorite albums in my collection. I've also got another Din album. 2 of them, actually. Again, that's that local band. So I got Given to the Din and Suburban Dream. Unfortunately, it's all like glary. Next up is Evil Stig. This is Joan Jett's recordings of the Gits album. Or like Gits songs. So if you don't know who the Gits are, that is a really, really cool female-fronted punk band. I've also got, back to some death metal, Exterminatus. This was a band that I actually saw locally, which was really, really cool. I've also got Extreme, the first album, second album, Porno Graffiti, third album, 3 Sides to Every Story, and also Waiting for the Punchline, 4th album. I do really, really like the guitar in these albums. Nuno Betancourt is a gem. I've also got local Garden of Bedlam, their EP, as well as their album, Everything Will Die. Some really great guitar tones on this album. Really great metal project. I think you can find them on Reverb Nation if you're curious. Another local metal band, Gates of Winter. Almost all of these bands that I say are local are not together anymore, unfortunately. This is what I consider good pop punk. We got Gob, The World According to Gob. We've got Graveyard Ghoul. Besides metal, I can't really describe this to you. This was just a random record store find, and I've only listened to it once, and it's been a long time. But very cool album art. Speaking of better pop punk, I've got Green Day, and in their first few albums here, we've got Smooth Out Slappy Hours, obviously the compilation, and Kerplunk and Dookie, which I think are all great records. I've also got Nimrod, and Insomniac, and Warning, and American Idiot. As we go through these, they're obviously not as good of albums, at least in my opinion. Green Jello, which awesome comedy rock sort of metal band. We've got, here was a touring metal act that I played with, Gutter Creek. They sound kind of like Judas Priest vocally, or like 3 Inches of Blood. Handsome Sandwich, local like indie rock band, really good stuff. We got another band that I booked, the Hazy Tones. This was extra heavy live. I put it as, I'd categorize it as like stoner rock. Really cool album art though. Great find from the record store. I had no clue what this band was. They're from, I want to say like Kingston or something in Ontario, but don't quote me on that. They are an Ontarian band. But What was really cool was just I just saw this album art and I picked it up, and this is one of the coolest, I want to say, hardcore, female-fronted hardcore band that I've ever listened to. So huge recommend on that one. I got my Maiden collection here. Can't go wrong. I don't think they've ever put out a bad album, even their newer stuff. So we got Killers, Seventh Son of Seventh Son, Somewhere Back in Time, which is just a compilation album. And then I've got I Came from Thunder Bay. This is a compilation album of a bunch of artists in Ontario, especially Thunder Bay, obviously, but by Meathead Records. This was like a 90s punk record label here. I've also got another artist that I booked. This is Neither Could Dylan, but on also Jamie. I'm not going to pronounce that last name, I'm sorry. This one hasn't been open, so I haven't listened to this one yet. I've got Surfing with the Alien, Joe Satriani. Junk in the Trunk is Tidal Records. It's a local compilation from, I want to say, in the early 2000s, maybe? Or 90s. Something like that. Then I got some Zeppelin. Houses of the Holy. I've got this one. I've got Lion Ride, local punk group that when I say these again, they're all defunct. The local punk group that my uncle was actually in, which is pretty cool. Another compilation album from here. This was, I want to say, from the 90s as well. Lots of various artists, and mostly in the metal genre. This right here is Lurk, another record store find. I had trouble figuring out what it was until I checked the side. I can't say too much about them. It's kind of low quality, like doom metal. Yeah, so we got that. I know there's a lot of controversy about Manson, so I'm not gonna say much. I have these in my collection from over the years. Quite a few, actually. Now we're gonna get into territory I'm really happy about, which is my Megadeth collection. This is probably what got me so heavily into metal. So I've got Killing Is My Business, Peace Sells, So Far So Good So What, Rust in Peace, which is a perfect album, Euthanasia, and Cryptic Writing. I'm missing Countdown to Extinction, but I do have it burned, so I'm not totally missing it. Toronto punk band, the Mendozas, they're kind of pop punk. They were really cool. I played with them out in Leeburn. Mike Haggith is a old local artist. He's not local anymore. He's still making music though, and he comes through sometimes, so I like to support. But that's more like singer-songwriter music. Now we've got some Mr. Big. We got Bump Ahead. We've got Hey Man. Haha. We got Lean Into It. And we got a hits album. It's more of like a rock band, but they have a really good guitarist, so. Here's Neither Could Dylan, the artist I was talking about earlier about booking. Bleach by Nirvana. We've got Incesticide. And I guess that's it by Nirvana. I thought I had more. No Fun at All is a really, really good Swedish 90s skate punk band. And I think that's my favorite album by them, No Straight Angles. I've also got No Use for a Name, the NRA years. I'm really, really into this band. Rest in peace, Tony Sly. What more can I say? I got White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean, and I've got Punk and Drublic. Probably my favorite NoFX albums. Also, Ribbed is a close contender. We've got The Offspring, Conspiracy of One, Smash, and Americana. I'm not the biggest Offspring fan, but for a while I was into them when I was younger. So I ended up getting gifted a lot of the Offspring. Splinter as well, just because I was into them when I was younger. Artist I'm a huge fan of is Ozzy Osbourne, and I've got fairly well his whole discography. So I've got Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman, Bark at the Moon, The Ultimate Sin, No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears, Down to Earth, Black Rain, this one, I think it was Scream. And this is like the Oz Man Cometh. And yeah, I'm gonna say like the later releases I wasn't the biggest fan of, but early stuff goes really hard. I've got a modest Papa Roach collection. I do think Metamorphosis was their best album when Nikki Sixx was helping them out. Love Hate Tragedy, Getting Away with Murder, and Crooked Teeth, which I didn't think the song itself, at the very least, was too bad. I got some Paramore. Riot and All We Know Is Falling, are both pretty good albums overall. I got some Paul Gilbert on his own, which is something I'm really happy about. Perfect Circle, some good metal here. Some Periphery, actually. I've also got Frederick von Bartlesby III. This was a joke project that I did, but I just ended up finding it in here. So yeah, it's Dr. Phil with abs. I've also got some cheesy 80s hair metal in the form of Poison, Open Up and Say Ah, and Look What the Cat Dragged In. A really good punk record, Propagandhi, How to Clean Everything. Also got Punk-O-Rama compilations, which I was lucky enough to find at the record store / skate shop here. So I got 3, I've got 6, and I've got 10. That's all that popped up, but I'm really happy about it still. Those were put out by Epitaph. Lots of really good punk on there that I discovered over the years. Racer X Live, Rage Against the Machine's first album, which is my favorite. Also, Evil Empire, Battle of Los Angeles, and Renegades of Funk. I think this is definitely my favorite Rancid album, and Out Come the Wolves. I think the album art itself is just really, really cool, and as well the CD and the book and everything. Good ska punk band. More Rancid, Indestructible. I've also got Random Killing, Stranded. That's very fast. I don't know. Punk. We're gonna go with punk. I've also got Randy, Welfare Problems. That's a band and song that I discovered off of one of the Punk-O-Rama compilations, actually. I've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication. I don't listen to this band too much anymore. Rusty, the album Fluke. Soundtrack from School of Rock. Sex Pistols album, because, I mean, that's kind of one of your staples, I guess. I've also got 6 AM here. That was This Is Gonna Hurt, and I think I have the Heroin Diaries burned, so I don't actually have the physical CD. I've got Simply Shit, the best of punk shit records. This is just a compilation album that I found in the record store. Shay Toll is a local anti-folk artist. Very experimental stuff. Very good. A little weird though. Skid Row's first album. Skindred, which is like reggae metal, goes really hard. I've also got Rain and Blood, and South of Heaven, and Seasons in the Abyss, and Divine Intervention, but I'm missing the front part for it. Slayer's probably one of my favorite metal bands in general. Slipknot's first album, SNFU and No One Else Wanted to Play. This freaked me out as a kid, this album art, for sure. I've also got SNFU's Never Trouble Trouble Until Trouble Troubles You. I got Steve Vai. I think 2, actually, yeah. I have 2 of his albums. I've also got, what is really interesting, is Streetlight Manifesto, Everything Goes Numb. It's probably my favorite album of all time, but I could not for the life of me find an actual CD copy, so I just made this myself. Not the best job, but this is just a burned disc. So, very happy with even being able to have that in some capacity. I've also got Strung Out here. That's a great punk band from the 90s. I think this album is 94 or 96. I've also got System of a Down, Toxicity. Unfortunately not the first album, but I got Toxicity, Mesmerize, and Hypnotize here. So I guess these are the opposite way, but yeah. And I've also got Tenacious D, obviously comedy rock with Jack Black, but they're really fun. I've got Tool's Undertow, which is my favorite album by them. I've got The first EP I released with my band Vanity first. We just called Vanity at that time. So there's me, my little crust pants, not totally decked out yet. That was really cool. And then our full-length album, Identity Crisis, that we released with 9 tracks, was pretty cool. I've also got Velvet Revolver here, the Von Bondies. I thought this was a cool album. Get Weezered. I've got a couple Weezer albums here, and I think the Blue Album is actually a really good album for what it's worth. Got Wishbone, a local band from the start of the video, and to finish it off, I've got Yngwie Malmsteen in his like sort of greatest hits, I guess, compilation CD. So yeah, that's it. Bye.